Should I tell my mom what my dad said about her? I 14F have always been really close with my dad 45M and less close with my mother 44F. When my family first got our dog, my dad would always walk our dad and me, and sometimes my brother, 10M, would join him. This was about 7-ish years ago, so it's been a way of bonding between us. When I was about 10, my dad started to complain/gossip with me on these walks. He'd complain about lots of people in our family, but mainly my mom. He'd say stuff like, "Oh, your mother is so stubborn," or "your mother is so hard to deal with." I thought this was normal, so I'd join in, and would tell him if I was annoyed with how strict she is. He always would agree with me and would say stuff like, "You think she's hard on you? Try being me." He would also gossip about my grandmother, uncles plus more family members. Once, when I was about 11 to 12, I said something about how I thought my mom was going easier on my brother, and he agreed with me, and said, "Your mother's way more affectionate with your brother than with you." This happened multiple times. I started to think that my mom didn't love me as much as my brother, but my dad did, and was on my side. He kept doing this, and whenever he got into a fight with my mom, he'd tell me all about it and I'd give him advice. There was one time, and I told him that my mom might have been in the right, and he got really mad. Recently, probably about June, he was complaining about how my mom wasn't going to drive my brother to his soccer or something, and I realized that he was kind of painting my mom in a bad light. Later that day, I thought about all the things he'd said about my mom, and realized that he was literally talking about my mom, plus other family, behind their backs, how he was painting himself in a better light, and I basically realized that it made me biased against my mom for years. I also thought about how my mom treated me versus my brother, and realized she doesn't have favorites, just might use different parenting approaches sometimes with us. I genuinely thought that my mother loved my younger brother more than me for years of my life. I've stopped going on these walks and started spending more time with my mom. Recently though, my brother's been going on these walks alone with my dad. Today I asked him if my dad has ever talked poorly about our mother with him, and he said yes. I told my brother to take that with a grain of salt. I feel really guilty and want to tell my mother, but I also don't want to lose my dad. He isn't perfect, but I still love him and don't want to hurt him. So should I tell my mom or keep the peace? TLDR, my dad talks shit about my mom behind her back, but if I should tell her because I might wreck my relationship with my dad.